Rest easy, Australia, for the wait is over. This is day one of the 15th Commonwealth Games, coming to you live and exclusively through Network 10. And this is Victoria, Canada. Not far on the map, not as the crow flies, yet somehow a world away from Vancouver, host city of the 1954 Games. 4 decades down the track, an empire, now a Commonwealth. And we're rolling back into British Columbia, back for 11 days of splash, sprint and some old-fashioned silliness. Fun. These gifted young athletes, the Kieran Perkins, the Hayley Lewises, the Kathy Freemans, they congregate here not to learn about history, but to create it. Let them wait no longer. Today, the opening ceremony of the 15th Commonwealth Games. Good morning, Australia, and welcome to Victoria, Canada for the 15th Commonwealth Games. It's just after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and like the scene behind me, another postcard day. Brilliant sunshine, little or no humidity, and the finest athletes in the Commonwealth gathered before an international television audience tipped to hit 500 million people. For the next 10 days, Network 10 Australia will keep you on the pace with the coverage incorporating 160 hours. From Centennial Stadium, adjacent to us here at the International Broadcasting Centre, we welcome Anne Fulwood and Tim Webster. Tim, how does the atmosphere compare to that of, say, an Olympic Games or a football grand final?
Well, you can probably hear them, Bill. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone at home. This crowd is really pumped up. They're practising, I think. We've got the wave going and a lot of clapping and cheering. Look, I think, Billy, the difference is this is going to be a very peaceful, very harmonious and a spiritual thing once it gets underway, rather than a very aggressive one that you'd find at the MCG or the football stadium.
Well, preparation, as usual, has been very secretive, but can you give us a clue just what to expect?
No, I don't think we should do that, Bill. Anne and I saw the dress rehearsal yesterday, and there were a lot of gaps in it, as you'd expect. And we want everybody at home in Australia to see it along with us. We really didn't see the full show. But let me tell you, it's going to be a mosaic of Canada that you're going to see, all its peoples and all its history, and it's going to be just fantastic. And these guys here behind me, Annie, are gearing up to get into it.
Oh, my goodness. It's actually giving me a rush of emotion, much like I had yesterday, Tim, when I watched this preview of the opening ceremony. It is a spiritual and emotional moment. I think that's been the catch cry here in Victoria. It's an emotional city. They're full of spirit. They've been so happy to have the Commonwealth Games here in Victoria, Canada, and they've been waiting for this moment for so long. You can hear the excitement. It's palpable. It's actually made us all a bit nervous and uptight up here in the box. But Norman May, you're a man who's an expert. You've been to 9. It's an emotional and a happy time in this magnificent city, isn't it?
What a wonderful atmosphere. And this is a city gripped in Games fever. Yes. And when you look at what we've seen around here, just like being in Australia, wonderful conditions. And what about the Australian team? Well, they're in great shape. You know, they finished off their final preparation with a typical Aussie barbecue, and that's the way to do it. They've received hundreds and hundreds of messages from back home, and they feel that they're representing the whole country. And over the next week and a half, you're going to see a feast of magnificent television entertainment. I believe the record must go. Australia has a wonderful team, 2 world record holders in swimming, the 6 Olympic medalists beside the gold medal of Kieran Perkins, a great cycling team, everything. It's all there. I reckon they can win 70 gold medals. In my opinion, it will be a great Games, but more importantly, a very great Games for Australia.
You heard it from the expert, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Norman May. And as you saw on the screen a moment ago, that was the Australian team getting ready for the march around the Centennial Stadium here for the opening ceremony. And now I'd like to introduce you to a man who I don't think needs introduction, an international commentator who I'm sure we're all familiar with, Phil Liggett.
Thanks, Anne. Well, back in 1958 at the British Empire and Commonwealth Games in Cardiff, the Queen sent her message to the people of the Commonwealth in a baton, and it went via 664 long-distance relay athletes. Now, since then, the Queen's baton relay has become a tradition, and this year it all began in the courtyard of Buckingham Palace on March the 14th, where the Queen handed the silver baton to Michael Smith, the Canadian decathlete, and so started the long journey through 8 Commonwealth nations before the baton itself finally arrived in Canada. The baton is solid silver, designed by 3 artists from First Nations and engraved with the symbols of the frog, the raven, wolf and the young thunderbird. And it completed its long journey here in Victoria this morning after travelling almost 100,000 kilometres. Today, the Queen will read that message here in Centennial Stadium. And I can promise you that will be one of the many highlights here in what is often a very highly charged and emotional opening ceremony, as you'll find out with us after this break.